One peaceful afternoon, Flip the cat was exploring a mysterious cave deep in the forest. She sniffed around and discovered something glowing near a wall. It was a seashell, but unlike any she had ever seen. It shimmered in blue and green and hummed softly, like it held ancient secrets. Flip touched it with her paw, and suddenly, the world around her twisted into light. She wasn't scared, just curious. In the blink of an eye, she vanished into time. Flip blinked and found herself floating in water. But somehow, she could breathe. All around her were colorful, strange shapes. No fish, no whales, no people, just ancient ocean creatures. She had traveled 485 million years into the past to a time scientists call the Ordovician Period. During this time, Earth's land was nearly lifeless, but the oceans were bursting with new forms of life. Flip spun in wonder, the light from the surface dancing around her. Near the seafloor, Flip saw creatures crawling in lines. They looked like beetles with helmets. These were trilobites, some of the first animals with hard shells. Their bodies were made of 3 parts: head, body, and tail, and they had dozens of tiny legs underneath. Trilobites were everywhere. Some were no bigger than a pea. Others were the size of dinner plates. Flip gently reached out her paw as one crawled past. It twitched, then scuttled away. "Hello, little time traveler," Flip whispered. Farther ahead, Flip saw towers growing from the sea floor. They looked like castles made of stone and sponge. These were the first coral-like reefs in Earth's history, built by ancient creatures called stromatoporoids. These reefs became underwater neighborhoods for all kinds of life. Tiny creatures hid in crevices. Wavy arms reached out to catch food. Flip swam slowly through the reef, careful not to disturb the peaceful world. "This ocean is alive," she thought, "in 1,000 tiny ways." Flip spotted a strange fish swimming past. It had no jaw. This was an Ostracoderm, one of the earliest fish ever to exist. It had a bony head shield, no teeth, and swam slowly using its tail. Flip smiled. "You don't look like much," she purred, "but you're the beginning of something big." Tiny ribbons floated all around her. Flip blinked. Were these animals? Yes, they were graptolites, tiny colonial creatures that drifted with the ocean currents. They looked like delicate feathers or zigzag strings. Flip watched them dance through the water like living lanterns. Today, graptolite fossils help scientists figure out how old rock layers are and where oceans used to be. Even though they were small, they carried the history of the sea in their tiny bodies. Suddenly, a shadow. Flip looked up and froze. A giant eurypterid, a sea scorpion, glided above her. With armored plates, long swimming paddles, and deadly claws, it moved like a silent hunter. Some eurypterids grew longer than a grown human. Flip pressed herself behind coral and held her breath. The predator swam past, unaware of the little cat watching from below. "That was close," Flip whispered. The reef opened into a wide, sunlit plain. There, Flip saw crinoids which looked like underwater flowers but were actually animals. Worms poked from holes, filtering food from the water. Star-shaped echinoderms clung to rocks, and conodonts, a mystery group of jawless swimmers, flashed by like darts. The ocean was a garden of movement. Every creature had a job. Every ripple mattered. Flip felt like she was walking through Earth's oldest museum. Flip swam toward the shore, curious about the land. She crawled up onto warm, empty rock. There were no birds, no grass, no trees, just bare stone and wind. Only a few mossy patches clung to the edges of the rocks. Back then, the land was still quiet. Life hadn't found its way out of the water yet. Imagine, Flip thought, a world where only the ocean breathes. Back in the water, Flip found a tiny trilobite resting on the seafloor. She watched it carefully. If this creature gets buried by mud and sand, she thought, it might turn into a fossil. Over millions of years, minerals would replace its body, turning it into stone. That fossil might be discovered by a scientist in the future. Just like this moment. Remembered forever in rock. Flip looked up. The continents looked wrong. That's because during the Ordovician, Earth's land was gathered into a massive supercontinent called Gondwana, near the South Pole. Over time, continents drifted, crashing together and breaking apart like puzzle pieces. These movements changed oceans, climates, and life itself. Flip imagined the Earth slowly breathing, shifting, shaping the future 1 inch at a time. As Flip swam past a green patch of underwater plants, she noticed bubbles rising to the surface. These were algae, tiny plant-like organisms creating oxygen through photosynthesis. During the Ordovician, oxygen levels were rising fast, making it possible for animals to grow larger and for life to one day leave the sea. Without those tiny bubbles, Flip realized, we might not be here at all. Suddenly, the ocean turned cold. The water felt heavier. Creatures began to disappear. Ice began forming at the poles. Sea levels dropped. Flip was witnessing the Ordovician mass extinction, one of the biggest in Earth's history. Around 85% of marine species vanished. The ocean grew quieter, lonelier. Flip swam through the silence, her heart heavy. Even oceans, she whispered, have storms that last forever. Around 443 million years ago, Earth faced one of the most catastrophic events in its history, the Ordovician Silurian mass extinction. In a matter of geological moments, nearly 85% of all marine species vanished. At the time, life flourished beneath the waves. Trilobites, Brachiopods, ancient corals, and jawless fish ruled the seas. But then, the planet changed. A sudden global cooling event, likely caused by the growth of massive glaciers, led to a sharp drop in sea levels. Shallow coastal seas, the heart of ocean life, simply disappeared. And just when life began to recover, the climate shifted again. Glaciers melted, oceans warmed rapidly, and oxygen levels plunged, especially in deeper waters. It was a second deadly blow. This extinction forever reshaped marine ecosystems. Many once dominant species were lost, making way for new life to evolve and rise. Even hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth's climate had the power to transform the story of life. The magical shell appeared again, softly glowing under the sand. Flip paddled over and gently placed her paw on it. The reef behind her shimmered, faint echoes of life she would never forget. As light swirled around her once more, she whispered, "Thank you, ocean, for letting me remember." And just like that, she returned home. Back in the quiet cave, Flip curled beside the shell. She had seen strange creatures, giant predators, and Earth's very first reefs. She had learned that even tiny animals can change the planet, and that time is full of stories waiting to be told. If you enjoyed Flip's journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. More adventures through deep time are coming soon, only on the Wonder Book.